Welcome back to the 2016 Causeway Challenge here in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. We have the final game of day 4 here at the tournament.
That's right, round 39.
So this for us is a big turning point because we have done at least 9 games a day, every day. This is the third day of doing 10 games. Tomorrow, for the final day of play, it's just 6, so this is a last final run for all of us. I see Dean Saldana in the chat.
Hi,
Welcome,
Dean.
stranger. It is great to have you here.
And as this match between David Eldar and Nigel Richards gets underway, I am aware that there aren't latest standings on the Causeway website, so I'm just going to see if we can get those for you during the game.
So with that win for Nigel over David in a completely spectacular game, Nigel goes 1 win up over David Eldar, but David's still with more spread, so should he win, he will pull back into first. Waiting to see if Harshan Lanavadu won his last game, and if he did, he will also be at 25 wins, like David Eldar, with a lot less spread, mind you, but well within range to try and get into second place and take on Nigel himself. Harshan, I believe, played Mark Nyman last round, if I'm correct, and has Esther in this one, but we'll get confirmation. Any update for us, Chris?
No, but the tournament staff are going to give us a printout, I think, so we'll wait for that one to show up. Dave got quota to open.
Yeah, and he kept EN, I believe, left over, so fairly standard.
Pretty friendly opening rack.
Nigel hoping for something like a C for Monocrat, but not getting it.
I could tell you guys that Dave is exhausted.
Oh yeah.
He came up to me after that one and just went, "That guy."
And what else can you do, right?
I think that says it all. Yeah.
He laughed when I was talking to him at the board and was like, well, to you as well, when he said, as soon as I pulled the bingo, I knew I was never going to play it.
Yeah.
And sure enough.
He's going to play this one.
Yeah. How measure
goes down straight away, and Dave gets an early lead, which he hasn't had for a while against Nigel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay guys, I'm going to call a moratorium on the last game. Maybe set up your own chat elsewhere if you want to keep doing the post-mortem on that one. Let's concentrate on the current game if we possibly can.
Torrents for Nigel plays through the E in Al Najr.
Quackle operator is poised with the arrow to enter it. As it goes down.
There she goes.
No trouble at all. And looks like a fairly standard reply of bogey.
On the bottom left, yeah. It's nice when it's a little easier and just plays itself.
Yeah.
After that
hair-raising game between these same two players in the previous round, if you didn't catch that one, go have a look at it.
We definitely have our highlight of the tournament now. That
Absolutely.
was just out of this world. Excellent play from both players. Maxillar?
Don't think so.
Maxilla works, but Maxillar I'm not quite sure of.
No, you're quite right there.
Maxillar works. There you go.
So Nigel pulls a beautiful 8 out.
And he's going to get to play it after bogey. Wow.
So, going to be roughly equal. Nigel will have a bit of an advantage after Maxilla. And it takes a backhook Y.
Maxillary, wow.
That might be pushing the boundaries of Dave's word knowledge. Not Nigel's, though. So a bit of a danger hook there for David Eldar, I'm suspecting. He's going to be available. Nigel could cash in if he gets a Y.
However, not in this case. There we go, maxillar.
And Dave is down 18 points with a little bit of valve trouble. And probably wondering to himself, I wonder if maxilla takes a Y. He might know it. Noreen suggests that Dave has studied all the 8 to 9 hooks, and I think indeed that's very possible. But I'm not going to be sure he knows it until he plays it. So I'm just wondering what's on the table for Dave on this play. Clearly he wants to get a bit more balance, break up those duplicate I's, keep ARE, IRE, or simply RE would be the classical leaves that you're aiming for here. But that's not such a straightforward matter on this board. Something like Balise, B-A-L-I-S-E, has to be on the table as a possibility. To keep the IER. And there are some things to dislike about that option, so I'm going to keep looking.
Now it scores, and I'm not sure much what it does positionally for the board, but he could play X sign or something similar to get rid of some vowels. A, B, or I, not the most optimal of all possible leaves, but it does score.
Yeah, not too bad either. Hi, Mullen. So, Jesse suggested a play, I've suggested a play. Don't think either of us likes our suggested plays all that much.
No, they do attempt to deal with the problem, but this position is a pretty sticky one.
Let us know what you reckon. AERIE, if it goes anywhere. I think it does. Nice suggestions from Lewis Mackay. Iambi through the M of Korma, which as he points out is a little bit volatile. Q and X are both played, so some of that danger is reduced. Bialy is another possibility at K9. That's thematically quite similar to my Balise, but it doesn't stick the E down there on K15.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out too that with Bialys, the major concern would be Q and X, but both are already on the board. So some points in favor of that potentially, but there are still the H's out there to score with them, but you don't really want to worry too much about that one, considering here, given just how early we are in this game.
But Dave's clearly not finding it an easy position.
And with good reason.
Yeah, no standout move, in my opinion. Someone's probably going to tell me in the chat in a sec that one or other of these moves seems clear. But it ain't clear to me.
There goes X sign. Yep. And yeah, the reason I suggested it in the first place was just because of how much it scored. I wasn't sold on it just because of some of the problems with it, but it seemed like every position we were thinking through had some kind of problem, so
nice
there you
play.
go, take the points.
Nice play. Meanwhile, Nigel's got a few consonants on his right. I see Keenaf.
Yep. Keenaf scores pretty well.
Not wild about the leave. Nigel could do something a bit different here. Yeah, looks like he's going for Keenaf. Dave, now another few options to think about. Whether to go across 15 row with something like Orbit, whether to really amp up the uncertainty by playing down the N column, or whether there's a move from C9 down that I haven't spotted yet that does well.
And N for Pignolia would be nice for Nigel, but no such luck will pass for him.
Of the 15k options, I see Tabid, I see Orbit. I think Tabid's maybe a little better, although with the floaters on the board, Orbit might have it.
Orbit leaving AD, Tabid leaving OR. In both cases, they can play to the right of Keenaf.
Some opinion on the chat that maxillary is a common or at least widespread word. Well, I'm going to put my hand up and say I didn't know it. What does it mean, guys?
I'm assuming it has to do with the face, because I know maxillofacial surgery involves a particular region of the mouth, so I believe it's pertaining to muscles in that area. Axillary, I know, refers to the armpits, but I'm still not so sure. It's perhaps among people who are a little more educated, perhaps it's more common, but I would say, generally speaking, not so much. And even, it's really only people who perhaps are more familiar with specific medical terminology.
Fair enough.
Look at that, maxillary attached to a jaw or jawbone. Yeah, I actually had maxillofacial surgery when I was younger because I had to get something fixed in my mouth after having worn braces for a while, so that's just how I happen to know it, but I don't think everyone gets braces, so I don't think it's as common as perhaps
Lisa
thought.
needs braces.
Dental plan.
Dental plan.
Dental plan. I remember I used to do that as an exchange with the people on Facebook, as one person would type that and I would type the other thing, so I would randomly start with Lisa needs braces, and then sure enough we just have a comment trail of dental plan, back and forth.
Good, happy days.
So yes, I get these references.
No one loves a Simpsons reference more than one of the guys playing this game.
I guess David Eldar loves the Simpsons references.
I don't feel too stupid for not knowing it.
Cesar says the same thing. Dental plan. And it looks like he's settled on Doab.
That's a curious play. Doesn't keep the A. So reparalleling the B column. Maybe that's not really a concern. I'm not quite sure what that play's about. Do tell us in the chat if you want to decode it for us. That Doab play by David Eldar.
He has virtuosi through the O in quota.
Oh, so nice.
There's
Well
actually
done.
a story involving this word at a US Nationals some time ago. I'm not sure if you've heard this story, but Chris Cree was playing against Jim Kramer, two fairly high-rated experts in the Phoenix Nationals, and Chris Cree had calculated that there was really only one way to lose, and that was if from an I at 8-0 that Jim Kramer could play virtuosi up to bingo out. And
Right.
he decided it was worth playing elsewhere for points and not worrying about it, and no sooner did he hit the clock than Jim started laying down the tiles for virtuosi, and Chris in his trademark fashion got up, left the table and punched the wall. I think he even wrecked some of the tendons in his hand briefly, but they weren't too badly damaged. He's known to express his emotion in games. At that same tournament, I believe, he actually threw a tile bag, an empty one, which hit another Texas player in the back of the head.
So, nice break for Dave. Drawing a bingo in a kind of quiet region of the board. Chat's still talking about the word cromulent. Nobody's offered a single opinion about Dave's Doab play, so the chat really has a life of its own at the moment. I'd love to see some strategic insight, because I don't have that much to offer of my own after 9 games of this. Feeling quite tired. And I just don't understand the play. I can't quite figure out my way into unpacking it.
I see Agapo on the bottom as an option for Nigel, but I wonder if he's opted for something else. There you go, he has gone with Agapo.
Yeah.
And David Eldar still has virtuosi as they play through the O.
So Nigel takes a handy little 40-point lead, and Dave's only going to go about 25 points up on him with this bingo. So very much an open game. Blanks hiding. Big Y hook on the right-hand side of the board for the first player to draw one.
Some nice atypical words on this board. Maxillar certainly doesn't come up in a lot of your average games. All-Ledger maybe a little more often, but still looks pretty funny. And virtuosis with a bunch of direct usually all together to use all 7.
Yeah, it's a pretty... Nigel, really horrible draw. That's really going to slow him down a bit in terms of points, and he could do without that. There was plenty of stuff he could have got. A couple of heavy letters.
Oh, is he not bonusing?
Oh, wow.
Oh.
David Eldar seems to have missed a really quite basic bingo. And that's fatigue kicking in the last game of the day, if anything. Bit of a surprise. I think we're all a bit surprised by that. But, you know, he's human.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have thought that would be the one he'd slip up on, though.
Yeah.
You know, he's the guy who picked up LECYTHI blank S earlier on in the day, so lots of sad faces appearing in the chat, and I think with good reason. We're all a bit disappointed not to see that one go down. Who knows, we can only speculate on exactly why he missed it. but it's clearly an oversight rather than he knows that's good, definitely.
He knows the word, absolutely.
Yeah. And that hands the advantage back to Nigel, or at least puts Nigel under significantly less pressure than he would have been under. As he deals with this 3E and 2I rack. Yeah, Noween says Dave's body language not great at the moment. We're actually saying this before the last game, that he was a little bit
despondent,
down at heart at the knowledge he had to play Nigel twice more in the day. And he has just lost the last 3 games straight, including 2 to Nigel. And he knows Nigel, well, he just said that guy after that round, so...
It was an absolutely exhausting game, Rick,
yeah, very bruising game, that last one. So thanks for that shot of the players, guys. It would be great to get the Quackle feedback so we can continue looking at Nigel's low-scoring rack of problem vowels. And I still hadn't seen anything I liked from that rack. Nigel spotted something or other. Maybe using that V to get some points. Might be as simple as Vile, but it isn't. He's, by the looks of it, playing Neve. Very curious choice there. There's a couple of plays here that I've not really been sure what they were about. Dave's Doab was certainly in that category.
Yeah.
Nigel's Neve, it is a kind of standard balancing play, but very little score, and it's a very close middle game. Neve, of course, creates easy alleys for a 7-letter word, and wasn't so easy to play a 7 on the board before that turn. You'd really have to use the B column or work with that K or the Y hook on the right-hand side of the board. So perhaps Nigel feels that with 2 blanks out, he's a decent chance of getting a bingo to that leave in one of these alleys. I'm not sure.
Do you think, David, we can start plowing through a lot of letters here, like with weighted or something? No, he looks like he's doing something else instead. Would, yeah, that's fair enough. There's A, E, I, T. Will be interesting to see who picks a Y first.
And again, not a fully expected move there from Dave, I feel. He certainly had other options to break up that tricky combination on his rack.
He's got Ectasia.
And he does indeed. Wow, that's a nice pull. So a little gambit from Dave, and it's paid off. And we have seen throughout this day of play, most gambits have paid off.
And Nigel can't do anything about it.
He cannot.
Beautiful, and just like that.
That may have been a bit of good range finding from Dave as well there. You know, the A is not really indicated in the leave, neither is the O from Nigel's play.
I mean, if he were to outright try and block, he would just drop the J for judo or something, but that can't be optimal.
What do you guys think about that WOD? Did it involve range finding?
So Egypt goes down for Nigel to score, and we're going to see Ectasia on the left very shortly here to give Eldar the lead.
Yep, and the blank's still hiding, and the Y's still hiding. So there's a lot of action to come in this game, yeah.
We've said a few times only over this round that we've waited with bated breath on something, but this is just going to be killer whoever gets that Y first. It's a little bit of Russian roulette.
Nigel on move. 56 points in arrears. No Y, no blank. He does have
scoring
the Z.
tiles.
Yep. Fez shuts down the right-hand bit of the board and looks like an obvious standard line.
But do you think he wants to when he's behind?
Probably not.
Oh, and David has the first Y.
And a blank to go with it. So I don't think he can hit the triple
Not
without
using
spending the blank.
Yeah.
If Nigel doesn't score much here, he might think that's worth it.
Mm.
Kind of depends what Nigel does.
That's true. With
play.
so few... Wait, there's 12 unseen to Nigel. Oh, Noonday. Right. Oh, beautiful.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful
about
play.
Noonday, yeah. So we will find out, assuming that line.
And he's going to play Fez to block it. Yeah. I think with 12 unseen and 2 Ys plus a blank in the pool, he has to.
Yeah, I agree. He does have to. And
Jedi mind tricks from Nigel continuing.
I'm not completely sure whether that knocks out all bingos for Dave. Is there another alley for that bingo?
That's the time Dave gets up. He won't miss. That's funny.
I feel that Dave is now without a bingo.
Yep. So do you think he maybe goes for something like Maxillary and Yo just to score a little bit and kind of balance? It's actually not so bad.
Well, if he knows it.
That's true.
If he knows it, absolutely. You know, that's gonna give him a handy little cushion. Holding the blank back is some insurance. 10 in the bag. Even if Nigel bingos instantly after a play of Y Yo, Dave can still try and engineer a comeback of some kind with a one-tile fish. Admittedly unlikely with the board shape. So much territory on this board has been occupied that to fit 2 bingos you really have to go rows 1 and 2 plus a vertical play hooking Neve. And Nigel will probably be able to sort that out in the scenario we're discussing where Dave plays Yo now and Nigel bingo straight away.
Noeen, good question. Producers, if we could get a shot on Nigel's side so we can see the clock, that would be greatly appreciated. Thank you.
And we do appreciate you guys all staying up, in some cases right through the night, to follow this. Hope you'll do the same tomorrow. It will be an earlier finish because we only have 6 games to do.
Yeah, and we are going to start at 8:30 a.m. as before. So 13 and a half minutes roughly for Nigel and 9 minutes for David Eldar, so no issue with time this game. Ed Oculitz points out that Iser bonuses are still available there as 9, so that would be quite something if that came up.
Yeah, nice way to end the day that would be. Not looking too wonderful for Nigel with that VHH. He has some points available, of course, with things like Heth in the B column. But he does trail and it's Dave's turn.
So it looks like he's played the Y off, so maybe, yeah, it's possible he doesn't know Maxillary then.
Also possible that he wants to force Nigel to empty the bag should Nigel have a bingo.
True.
And I think that is a very sound positional consideration if that's factoring in. Not sure that he actually had a 3-tile play using the Y down
over
there
there
in the O column, so he may just have found himself forced to avoid that just because of the imperative of playing 3 tiles rather than 2.
He's got cone nose through one of the E's on the top.
Nicely found.
Neocons doesn't play anywhere as far as I can see, but yeah, Cone knows at the very least he has got, doesn't score the most, but haven't yet looked to see if there's anything else.
You can't take a Nuna.
Non-obese. Edoculate says. Kenji says Noon Tides is a double-double. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Nice find.
That is beautiful. But Dave Eldar, we know he's tired. He flat out missed Virtuosi earlier in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So, Noontides have certainly been an impressive get here. And I think Nigel's best strategy here is to play for points and hope for an outplay bingo. But
Noontide still fits.
Oh wow! Nigel's gone kamikaze here, trying to draw almost the bag dry and get that blank on his rack.
Unloosen, is that good? Asks Anand Bharadwaj. And someone else suggests Unloosen,
yeah.
So yes it is. That is a triple available for David Eldar.
That'll
do it.
Put his mind at ease, yeah. Not sure about that Thivel play. What do you think, guys? Did Nigel need to do that? I felt that he could have played something like Heth in the B column and hoped to counter a bingo with another bingo. Maybe he thought Dave wouldn't give him that chance.
Rick Kennedy says, Chris, throw him coffee. Or some coffee quick. I thought it said coffee so quick. Apparently I'm tired and can't read either.
Well, I certainly hope he's sure of it.
He's got the time to anagram this one. Left more than enough time on his clock.
Meanwhile, has Nigel got a shot at this game in the unlikely event of a miss from Dave? He does not have a bingo, I can tell you that much.
McLaren guy, welcome. It's actually Noontides that he'd be looking to spot, but that's actually beaten by Unloosen as a triple, scoring even more, but both very high scoring plays.
So let's say Dave isn't playing Unloosen for whatever reason. He's going to be looking at that pool blank CDHIPWY if our Quackle feed is right, and it looks like it is right. And he should conclude, I would expect, unless there's a very improbable 8 in there, that any bingo is going to win in this game.
Yeah, so then if he doesn't play Noontides or Unloosen, there would be Cone Nose, like I said before.
Exactly.
Which would still win in the game.
The face value play should be enough to win here.
Yep.
And I expect that even if he's unsure or misses, he's going to walk out the winner here. I don't think he's going to screw this up by playing off one tile or anything like that.
I would certainly hope not.
That was a very, very interesting move of Doab before, and another interesting move of Wad. I think that involved range finding. Nigel's play of NEIVE didn't generate much opinion in the chat, but I thought that was well worth looking at as well, if anyone's reviewing this game later. Yad, I think, was a play for counting tiles.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, that was forethought in case Nigel bonused
Exactly,
the
yeah.
bag, so that's very nice, certainly.
And Thivel from Nigel, did he need to do that? I'm not quite sure. He clearly thought that he did with the 2 blanks unseen to him.
I think in favor of Thivel, he needs to get rid of at the very least the V, if not the H, and this does it in a way that doesn't destroy the board. Because something like Hive in a lot of the spots where there are E's does block the board in a way that he doesn't want to happen when he is trailing.
Yeah.
So that might be something that favors his play. I'm still not sure if I support it, but that's perhaps some why.
I'm still yet to be convinced that B3 Heth for a hefty score isn't best there.
Oh, it's a great score, absolutely. I'm just thinking of possible reasons, but yeah, I like Heth a lot.
Expect Dave's seen unloosen by now.
It's just deciding whether to pull the trigger, I think.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, it's hard to convey that over the internet unless you're aware, but Dave just lost a really, really difficult game last round where he played extremely well, so that's going to weigh on him. Hopefully not factor into avoiding a word that he spotted.
Joseph McGinley says, ask us to elaborate on the tile count consideration for the play of Yad. That was an endgame timing factor, if we have it right. Joseph, the point of Yad was that it left exactly 7 tiles in the bag, meaning that if Nigel then bingoed, he would also be forced to empty the bag, giving Dave first shot in an endgame and possibly a bingo back. Whereas an 8 tile in the bag situation meant that Dave would have to play with 1 tile still to draw, which is less ideal.
Yeah, so it's setting yourself up for the most ideal way to end the game, especially because between players of this caliber and at the top end of the division in general, it often does come down to an end game, because we expect players to draw roughly equivalently a lot of the time and play all the maximal best plays, pardon me.
So Dave, his clock's running down to 2.5 minutes, and I expect that the calculation running through his head is something like this. He's seen unloosen, he knows of course that it wins, but he's probably around 99% sure of it. And he knows that a phony is devastating to his chances of winning this game. He almost for sure has spotted the face value bingos and is just trying to work out if they are a safe win.
Did he play across the top? I can't see. It didn't look like he played on the triple line.
I think he's not hit his clock yet, but he's playing face value across. And I actually think that's perfectly reasonable in his
Understandable,
position.
Absolutely. He just wants to get the win.
Unless he's absolutely rock solid, rhodium plated, 100% sure on unloosen, then this is an absolutely fine play based on the calculation that he's done.
Sutirapan, yeah, obviously unloosen is going to win him the game by tripling. What we're talking about is cone nose, we believe, should still win him the game no matter what. And when you are not 100% sure of unloosen, especially when you're playing Nigel, who has perfect knowledge of the dictionary, it is incredibly intimidating. So you want to play the words where you are completely sure, and cone nose would be one that he is surer of than unloosen.
So we've been seeing in this game something that we did know about Dave, which is that his word knowledge isn't 100%. It is shaky at times. So there are many words that come up that he's not fully sure of, and there are words of all lengths. They're bingos, they're threes, fours, well not threes, but fours and fives as well. And his play finding is really, really excellent, as we saw in the last game, but sometimes lets him down. And this is the 10th game of an extremely tough day for him.
Playing Nigel many times.
Yep, and he's coming off 3 losses, and there have been a couple of cracks here.
And he's played this, because he just wants to win, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, finding a way to lose, within his own control after it not being in his own control before. You can't blame him.
He figured out that any bingo but a phone would win, but a phony would lose, so why not?
Tirafan, I believe he found it 100%. He's just not sure enough to play it and doesn't want to lose in case it's somehow not good. So he's playing the one he knows, and that's perfectly sensible, especially when you're still going to win. Gabriel Wong, hello Gabriel, asks, would it have been interesting if Dave got stuck with a C as a possible tile to draw? I'm looking to see if there's more than one spot for C on the board.
So there's tick and tack.
Yeah, that was the one I saw right away.
Yeah, curious. Maybe you would have.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Gabe. I'm only seeing one spot for the C, which Nigel would naturally see and take out.
Yeah, if anyone's got the game on Quackle, we'd love to know whether Dave wins the game with a C draw after the move that he made. Let us know quickly. Say what? So it's what at first looked like an alarming bingo from Nigel, but it looks like it's going to be Lichway. Very nice word.
and David will go out with the P and pick a spot, any spot here. So nice one by David, continuing the pattern of pulling down someone trying to pull away from the pool, so they'll be flat at the same number of wins.
No, Nigel went to game clear after the last game.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So David's pulling them back down. So
sorry, I beg your pardon. Yeah.
So they'll be flat at the same wins again.
So wow, yeah, all tied up overnight. Huh.
So they're just going to keep on playing each other.
Yep. And so end of the day, Dave has won this game. It was a tied game from him, and he'll be the first to admit it.
Yep. No, he's gonna. If we go over and ask him afterwards, he's gonna say he spotted unloosen 100% and just wasn't sure enough. And doesn't want to lose a game that he can win no matter what. Plus, he has the high spread along with Nigel. Nigel's the only one he has to worry about really spread-wise.
Yeah.
So he's not worried about building a ton more spread, I don't think. I mean, ideally you want to build spread when you can, but it's not so important when really only one person is within range of you at the moment. So we are wrapping up our coverage today. We are back again tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. local time for the final 6 games of the Causeway Challenge. With that, I believe Eldar will be in first just slightly.
I think that's right.
And then Nigel, I think, is in second. Let's just look back at the standings we had before this round. Esther beat Harsh and Lamavada Surya in the last round, both of them at 24 wins going into this. So David and Nigel at 26 wins apiece.
And possible that there'll be 1 or even 2 players on 25 overnight.
Yeah, so this depends on what happened in the last matchup. Did Esther and Harshan play again?
I don't know.
We'll find out, but at least one of them will be at 25, 1 game back of Nigel and David, so we know for sure that Nigel and David are playing first thing tomorrow, probably a second time after that, and then we'll see with the pairings after that, depending on what happens with Esther and Harshan. I would say mathematically, just some of the 23s have a chance of getting on top, but that's about it, because the 22s do not have a high enough spread. So yeah, we'll be back 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. Chris and Jesse signing up. Thanks for joining us. We will see you for the last day very soon. Ciao for now.